In 2007, Bulgaria joined the European Union. 18 months later, the EU had to take drastic action against this new member state.
The European Union has suspended almost 500 million euros in assistance to Bulgaria because of alleged corruption and organised crime.
Romani gangs from Bulgaria and its neighbouring countries are accused of making millions of pounds from pickpocketing and prostitution on the streets of the UK.
Излизат под формата на джипсийски кражби от Обединеното кралство.
I meet the gangs who see Britain as a soft target. And I speak to the police who are trying to tackle the problem.
Someone somewhere has brought them in, sorted them out and set them to work.
My journey into the world of gypsy gangs starts in London. With the relaxation of borders, Western Europe has become a target for Eastern European criminal gangs. And it wasn't long before the British press was full of horror stories predicting a crime wave. To try to get an idea of the scale of the problem, I'm accompanying the British Transport Police onto London's tube network. Around 35% of the people they arrest for pickpocketing are from Bulgaria. We've had to hide the faces of the undercover officers to protect their identity.
I think we've got some potential pickpockets up here.
Got two females stopped going up beside someone and get us again on the train.
She's got them now?
And then pulled away from them. The two females there.
Hang on a minute. We've been down here literally, what, 1 minute?
They basically just stopped these two girls who were acting suspiciously around a commuter. They've stopped them.
Basically, what they'll do is they carry scarves and headscarves and stuff. They use disguises as they go around the system to change their appearance. So she's got a cap. There's a pair of sunglasses in there as well. It's all there to conceal her identity, obviously because of CCTV and everything else.
This is the type of thing that is used. And they try and disguise the hand from the activity that it's doing, because obviously all you see is a black scarf.
She's got a train ticket there. It's been bought at 9:30 this morning. Right. So basically, she's been out on the system today for the last 8 hours. The reason they've been stopped in the first place is because they've crossed over platforms, they've gone up behind a member of the public who was getting on the train. Yeah. They've not physically got on the train themselves, they've pulled away at the last moment. Right. So we'll go upstairs and find out exactly what they're up to, hopefully.
The officer that actually spotted them originally, the two suspects are known to him. He's arrested them before for pickpocketing on this very station.
The officers take the two women away for further questioning. I have to say, they don't seem particularly upset about being apprehended.
You are new.
Yeah, you sir.
The actual alleged pickpocket has just looked at me and the officer next to me and said, "You are new and you are new," which makes you think that she might have met the transport police before.
The women are searched for any evidence of pickpocketing.
Do you know why the police stopped you?
I don't do nothing. I don't do pickpocket too long time. Now I'm personally.
But you have pickpocketed before.
Before, but now I don't do nothing.
The police don't find any incriminating evidence apart from their disguises. They're told to go home, but they can't use the underground.
The surprising thing for me was the fact that the officers were only on the platform for a matter of minutes before they spotted the two suspects operating.
As the police, we can only do what we can do in terms of arresting people.
Right.
Unfortunately, Ross, we don't hand out the sentences.
Right.
If they're not stiff enough, then you get repeat offending. The rewards outweigh the consequences.
The police tell me that on average, they arrest around 10 pickpockets a week on the tube. It's said that pickpockets make in excess of £200 a day. Back at their headquarters, DC Gilson and his colleague Detective Chief Inspector Kevin Shanahan explain how the pickpockets operate.
Okay, you can see now, this is an entrance at Knightsbridge Tube Station. There he is now. There's the thief coming forward, hand into the bag. It's done.
That quickly?
Yeah, that quickly.
Literally seconds.
Can you just see that again, please?
Here she is now.
Victim here, coming in frame
It's
now.
a victim coming in now.
There
There's
she
the
is.
thief. He's
There he is,
already
hands
into the
to the
bag.
bag.
He's already in there.
There's the hand, look.
He's opening the bag. You see the newspaper in his hand. If he's challenged you, cover his hand. He's got it. He's now...
Now he's off.
She has no idea.
She has no idea.
How big a problem is it?
We've always had a problem with pickpocketing on the underground, but we've had a phenomenon when we've had a number of countries join the European Union early in 2007, and we had a spike. And we saw that we were arresting a lot of individuals from these new accession countries.
You're looking at predominantly Bulgaria, Romania, and some Polish.
So this is Victoria Station, yeah?
This is Victoria Station, and that's our victim there with the earphones on.
Yep. And where are our guys?
Okay, our guys are those two there,
Yeah.
and the two behind them. They're with him as well. But if you watch them now going
They're
across
straight
the
after
screen,
him.
following the victim,
They're behind him now, yeah?
and they've targeted him as their prey.
They've seen that the wallet is kept in the pocket there because he's now using it to buy a ticket.
So he's
Here he
obviously
goes.
just got his ticket, got his change. We just watch this carefully now. The victim's moving away. If you watch
Here
this
the guy
guy
goes.
here, you'll see him make space in his trouser pocket. There he goes. He takes his wallet out. Now he goes in for the prey.
Hits him, yeah.
Turns around, but the victim's aware. And
Right.
this time he's not successful.
Right.
Yeah.
And they've been caught now, yeah?
These are our officers now going in to arrest.
In terms of the Bulgarian story that we're going to look at, we've been told that there are gypsy gangs operating in the UK. Do you know that to be true?
Yes. We've got information and intelligence to suggest that is correct.
What other things are these people into, these criminals?
They're involved in prostitution, running brothels. They're involved in identity and credit card thefts. I wouldn't like to put a figure on it, but it must run into the millions.
Millions?
I think so. I think so.
What I've seen today is just a small part of the problem here in the UK. I'm travelling to Bulgaria to meet up with the Romani gangs who are said to be running criminal networks on the streets of the UK.
I'm in Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria. We've come here to attempt to uncover the truth about one of the most despised ethnic groups in Europe, and to find out if the allegations made against them, which range from prostitution, pickpocketing, drug dealing and human trafficking, are true. And if they are, what impact these Roma gypsy gangs are having on the streets of Britain.
However, getting people to talk openly on camera isn't going to be that easy. After the Second World War, Bulgaria's Communist Party came to power and ruled for over 40 years. They operated one of the Cold War's most notorious spy networks, and its secret police was infamous. Like the Stasi in East Germany, many Bulgarians live with a genuine fear of being snitched on by their neighbours. The remnants of that state-created paranoia still exists today. The majority of the gypsies in Sofia, Bulgaria's capital, live on the outskirts of the city.
We're just about to enter a place called Fakulteta. It's a gypsy ghetto, and it's estimated there are around 40 to 45,000 gypsies living here. They were first moved here by the communist regime some 50 years ago, and I don't suppose at the time they had any idea that the place would swell to such an extent. Our contact here is a guy called Mishu. He works for an NGO that's sponsored by the European Union, and hopefully he'll get us a meet with some of the leaders here.
In comparison to the rest of Sofia, this place feels neglected and has seen little or no investment. I'm interested to find out from Mishu why, after the fall of the communist regime, the gypsies still choose to live together in this ghetto.
И логично е да се събират на едно място, там където се познават циганите, където биха могли да си помагат един на друг.
So basically other Roman people from all over Bulgaria come here because they know they're safe here?
Не бих казал, че е безопасно. Дори и за българите не бих казал, че е безопасно.
Can you tell me what percentage of the people living here are unemployed?
Мисля, че истината е някъде между 70 и 80%. До много проблеми. Тъй като преходът, за съжаление, за ромите не беше така най-добрия, който можеше да предложи.
What would you say at the moment is the present relationship between the Bulgarian people and the Roman people?
Понякога са повече изкуствени тези проблеми, отколкото истински така създадените. Предполагам най-вероятно, това са някакви бивши ченгета, които са се организирали в някаква такава политическа организация и в момента търсят също своето място, така да се каже, в политическия живот.
Why do they have an agenda against the Roman people?
Мръсни, черни и грозни. Те просто мразят по презумпция мразят роми.
It's early evening in Fakul Teta. A Mishu has arranged for me to meet up with some of the locals. I want to hear their views on the Roma gangs operating here and in the UK. However, no one is prepared to talk to me.
I have to say this is a very different place to the one that I imagined before I got here. I was expecting to buy high-rises. I was also expecting to see more poverty. I mean, there's lots of rubbish here and people are genuinely poor. But there are also people driving around in brand new Mercedes, BMWs. And you have to wonder, where's that money coming from if there's 80 to 90% unemployment? Anyway, I think what we need to do is just look further and ask a few more questions. But the people here are very wary of us. I think we're the first time a field crew's ever come in here, particularly one from the UK. So we'll have to see what happens tomorrow.
News travels fast amongst the Roma people, and it's not long before I'm summoned to a meeting with the head of the Euro-Roma party, Don Cheche. His real name is Zevelin Kanchev. Last year, his outspoken views on gypsy gangs targeting the UK made headline news.
He's disliked heavily by the far right here and by many Bulgarians who despise the fact that the gypsies have a political party. One thing's for sure, if he managed to galvanise all the gypsies throughout Europe, he'd have a very powerful lobby indeed.
He's asked to meet me at his office in a small town a couple of hours' drive outside of Sofia. By his own admittance, Kanchev has made many enemies, so employs a small army of armed bodyguards to protect him and his family. A wealthy Roma gypsy, his life seems very different from those I met in Fakul Teta.
Mr. Kanchev, how are you? Добър ден.
Thank you. Добър ден. Welcome. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. See here? I can ask you a simple question. Why you? Why are you the leader of the Roma party?
Мисля, че други трябва да отговорят на този въпрос. Тези, които са ми избрали, те трябва да отговорят на този въпрос.
That's a very political answer.
По принцип, аз не търгувам с зеленчуци.
Okay.
Занимавам се с политика.
But you weren't always. Had the government tried to stop you in any way, tried to halt your political aspirations?
99-та година аз бях арестуван и бях каран в затвора. 6 месеца след като бе създадена на Евророма, аз бях арестуван, бях каран в затвора и знаете ли за какво ме осъдиха? За грабеж на куче. Грабеж на куче оценено на 22 лева. 22 лева. Затова му осъдиха на 6 години.
Right.
6 години затвор.
Mr. Kanchev didn't spend long behind bars. He was quickly pardoned by the Prime Minister, who, like many politicians in Bulgaria, understands the importance of keeping the Roma gypsies on side. Their block vote is essential to winning an election. Mr. Kanchev has invited the heads of the various Roma clans from all over Bulgaria to join him and myself for lunch. However, there is one clan that's missing.
Просто няма кардараши в партията.
Why is that?
Кардараши не искаме в партията повече, защото те там са всеки срещу всеки. При тях няма единство при кардарашите.
Джепчиите 99% в България са кардараши. Не може да ми бъде един човек лидер, който си продава детето.
But is that their tradition? Do other people do it?
Наши кардарашите разсъждават така. Само ние сме родени, за да живееме щастливо и богато. Всички останали са създани, за да ни бъдат слуги.
Well, okay, in the UK then, is it just the Kalarashi that are doing the pickpocketing, or is it all gypsies that come from Bulgaria?
От другите касти няма джипчи.
Ерли, каладжи, ерли...
Решетари, ерли, каладжи, няма
джипчи, само кардараши.
And you guys do not agree with what they do?
Абсолютно.
Аз имам един контравъпрос към Дина.
Ясно.
Защо само непрекъснато питате само за калдарашите? Искате да чуете нещо ли?
Well, I want to find out who's behind the pickpocketing in the UK. The accusation abroad, it is gypsies from Romania, gypsies from Albania, gypsies from Bulgaria. Now, if it's not true, I want to hear from you what the truth is. I've come here to find out the truth.
Над 200 милиона паунда на година излизат под формата на джипчийски кражби от Обединеното кралство. Над 200 милиона
pounds a year.
Точно така.
200 million pounds.
Пряко влияе на икономиката на тая държава.
Това е нормално, значи една добра джипчийка днеска спокойно се прибира. Спокойно с 6-7 хиляди лири в къщи. Нормално, спокойно.
We just had lunch with the Euro-Roma party. Mr. Kanchev, their leader, was very eloquent and a fine host. He certainly had the backing of the other clansmen there. One thing he was very clear about was his disliking for the Kalarashi. He said they are responsible for the majority of the pickpocketing that happens in London, and he said they're making in the region of £200 million a year. What we need to do now is try and find the Kalarashi and put those accusations to them.
After a traditional 5-hour gypsy lunch, we head back to Sofia. To have any chance of tracking down the Kaldarashi, I need a better understanding of how the Roma gypsies operate in Bulgaria today. To give me an overview, I've got in touch with a well-known journalist who's had first-hand experience of the criminality that exists within the Roma community. Her name is Margarita Minerva.
How dangerous are the people that we're trying to investigate?
В България е много трудно да кажеш истината. И 2 опита за убийство. Който си позволи да каже истината, най-лесно е да го уволнат и да го убият.
One of the things I've also heard is that, you know, that the gypsies operate pickpockets, like the Kalarashi particularly, are pickpockets. Others run prostitution rackets. They sell and deal in drugs.
Циганите крадат, циганите проституират, а нима българите не крадат и българите не проституират. Искам да ти кажа, Рос, че лидерите на циганите се заиграват с мафията на държавата.
Do you think that, from what your knowledge in terms of your investigations, do you think that the UK is seen as a soft target?
Да, защо да не е лесна мишена самия? Значи, вие трябва да видите нещо вътре във вашата държава, какво да направите, за да ги спрете. Но тези циганки, които отиват да проституират и да крадат в Англия, те са острието на пирамидата. Отзад организацията е друга.
Yeah, exactly.
Друг ги праща. Те не са виновни.
Despite Margarita's warnings, I still want to hear the Kaldarashi side of the story. I put a call into one of our fixers to see if she can track them down and arrange a meeting. Finding the Kaldarashi is proving more difficult than we thought. However, finding gypsy girls working as prostitutes on the main roads out of Sofia isn't. It's Sunday afternoon and the lay-bys are full of young girls practicing the oldest profession in the world. We're put in touch with a group of gypsy prostitutes and their pimps.
We've come to a place called Družba. We've arranged to meet up with some gypsy guys, they're pimps. They're going to talk to us about how their organisation works, how they go about running the girls. And also, we've said that we're allowed to talk to actually the girls that they run, the prostitutes. So maybe we'll find out a little bit more about the actual infrastructure and who ultimately is controlling these guys and the girls that they run.
After what I've witnessed so far, it's hard to believe that prostitution is illegal in Bulgaria. And therefore, the pimps and their girls have asked to meet us at a secret location.
Hello, pleased to meet you. Obviously, don't say your names. You tell me, guys, what you do for a living. And how much money would you make then in a day or in a week?
На ден по 100-150, зависи на момиче, зависи, да. Зависи от дена, да. Делим 50 на 50.
Do you have to pay it to someone above you?
Да, има си, които си събират рекет.
Те са от български происход.
Те са от български происход.
The Bulgarians?
Да.
Have any of you ever thought about going to the United Kingdom and working?
Да, съм мислил по този въпрос много пъти и сега мисля до година живот и здраве да отида в чужбина.
Is it all right if I speak to the girls that you brought with you?
Да, няма проблем.
Hello, girls. Thank you for talking to us. Can I ask you, what made you do it? What makes you do it?
Мене ме накараха.
Who forced you?
Накара ме едно момче. Бях на 17. Каза ми, че ще работя друга работа. И в другия момент идва клиент с едно момиче. И отивам в един апартамент и клиента вика да се съблека. Аз ревем и не искам. Момичето ми казва, дай да спи с него и ще си ходиме. Вика да не те бие. И аз спах с него и слезнах, тръгнахме си. След това едно друго момче ме излага, че ще ме пази. И почина да ме другира с цигара.
Drug you, yeah?
Да. На цигара, за да може да ми вземе парите, иначе не си давам парите.
In the UK, there are many girls from Bulgaria working as prostitutes and from other girls from Eastern Europe. Would you girls ever want to go to the UK and work there?
Аз да, защото не съм пробила в Англия. Но по принцип
са много добри.
По телевизия така я съм гледала, горе-долу е хубаво. Там.
Добре.
Would you have to go with the guys, with the pimp, or would you go on your own?
Специално с него и на края на света, как и думата.
Whatever the girls were saying, their pimps were just behind me while we were talking. So, you know, highly unlikely they were going to start slagging off the blokes that ultimately control them when they're standing 10 metres away. They looked malnourished to me. They look too poor, and I don't believe they're earning that kind of money. I do actually believe that they're having to pay money to Bulgarians. However, you know, we have no proof of this yet, so we're just going to have to carry on. I mean, one thing's for sure, I don't think what we've been told at the moment is anywhere close to the truth and what's actually going on here in Sofia.
I'm saddened by the way these young women have to live their lives. But there are right-wing organisations here who have little sympathy for them or the gypsy community and would like to see them removed from the country. I'm in Bulgaria trying to meet up with the gypsy gangs who are said to operate on the streets of Britain. I've been told the clan that everyone blames for gypsy crime, both here and in the UK, is called the Kalderashi. But getting a meeting with them is proving more than difficult. In the meantime, I'm travelling to Plovdiv, Bulgaria's second largest city. Like Sofia, Plovdiv has its own gypsy ghetto. I'm struck by the levels of poverty and the lack of sanitation and the fact that the streets are overflowing with filth and rubbish. Most of the people here seem disillusioned. And while I can't condone it, with such high levels of unemployment, it's understandable why many of the people here turn to criminality. In a country of 7 million, where 1 in 6 is a gypsy, there are an increasing number of Bulgarians who believe they are being run out of their own country. I've arranged to meet Blood and Honour, a skinhead group that has its origins in the UK.
Right, we arranged to meet the Blood and Honour guys about 2 hours ago now. I don't know if something spooked them or whatever, but they've changed location twice. We're now walking up a mud track in a woods outside of Plovdiv, and somewhere up here we're expecting to bump into the Blood and Honour guys. I have to say, this is a bit like the blind leading the blind, though. Average Tuesday night, out looking for Nazis in woods. There you go. Or skinheads, I should say. If I look around you, I'm not going to ask you your ages, but you're all, I would say, in your early 20s, if not younger, yeah? Why is there a right-wing national movement sweeping across Bulgaria at the moment?
Защото нашите родители, докато са спали и са допуснали целият този комунизъм, ние решаваме, че трябва да вземем нещата в ръце и да направим нещо за бъдещето на нашите деца.
And what do you feel about the gypsies, for instance, being in Bulgaria?
Циганите са много голям проблем за България.
Освен те получават еднократни помощи за това, че са родили едно от 5, 20 или еди колко си деца. И след това ги пращат момичета да проституират, нали, като джипчи, да крадат. И от това се издържат. Не плащат сметки.
Самия етнос, цигани, насякъде е един и същ, не е само в България. Насякъде са като кърлежи, които смучат от държавата.
What can you do as an organisation to stop the gypsies from doing what they're doing?
Хората ги е страх да кажат, че са като нас, а много голяма част от тях мислят. Ако те всички, примерно, и ние се съберем и бъдем едно цяло, всъщност циганите няма да имат толкова голяма сила в обществото.
България е огромен, в Румъния е огромен, навсякъде е огромен и ще продължи да се разраства, ако не бъдат спрени циганите тук и не бъдат спрени по някакъв начин.
As they explained, you know, they see that their parents sat back and watched Bulgaria slip backwards, and they think because of that there's been a rise in criminality. The government have done nothing about it. That's why they're forming these organisations.
Blood and Honour are an underground organisation, but back in Sofia there is another right-wing group that is far more public about its views.
They're a group that was formed to protect white Bulgarians from gypsies and from other ethnic minorities in the country. They train and they march, and also they wear uniforms.
The Bulgarian National Guard was formed in 2007. This footage was shown on Bulgarian television. It reminds me of the propaganda films made by the Nazis in the late 1920s.
Do people wave at you and smile, or are people scared to see you on the streets?
No. People in this district know us very well.
Because they can rely on the police. They look to someone to care for them and to protect them when it's needed.
Why did you join the Bulgarian National Alliance?
I joined it because I want to see Bulgaria a strong and mighty country, as it was ages ago. Everything is full of scum around us. The streets are full of rubbish and the things are not going well. We want to change the things. The people in the government in Bulgaria, they are all criminals. They are connected with the mafia.
They are former communists.
Yes.
Most of them were working for the
past communist regime.
Yes, and for the communist secret service.
What do you think about the other people that live in your country? Say, for instance, the gypsies that live here.
There are a lot of racists and extremists in this country, but they are not Bulgarians. They are mainly gypsy and Turks. The gypsy racists, they got battle groups on the streets who beat Bulgarians, they rape Bulgarian girls, they steal from the shops, and they do a lot of illegal things. But they must know that we are masters in this country. This state was founded by our ancestors, and we must rule this country.
The young men I've met blame the government and the police for not resolving what they call the gypsy problem.
Thank you for agreeing to...
I want to see how the police are dealing with the situation, so I join them on patrol on the streets of Sofia. As in the UK, pickpockets take advantage of the rush hour. I was hoping to see gypsy pickpocket gangs in action, but with our cameras and the police presence, they saw us before we saw them.
How organised are these pickpocketing gangs?
Това си е така семейно препитание един вид. Всички приходи се събират при големия, който е ръководител на клана и съответно надолу се разпределят надолу по стълбицата на кой колкото му отпуснат от
We've been told that the people who are controlling and trafficking these young gypsy pickpockets are actually Bulgarians and they're mafioso. Have you heard anything like that?
Не, не.
After 2 hours with no arrests, we head back to the station.
And what happens to them once they're arrested?
Закарваме ги в районното, установяват се, след което ги поемат оперативни, криминална и след това вече може да има някой осъден, може или ги изкарват принудително извън столицата и след време пак се връщат.
Aren't you wasting your time then, really? If you have to release them and they're back out on the streets, it just...
Така излиза.
It's a waste of time.
Да.
The police seemed to have their hands tied, and their frustration was evident. After weeks of trying, we finally get a phone call from the Kalderashi. They've agreed to an interview, but only on their own terms.
Right, well, these look like our guys. They are bandanaed up. They're members of the Kalderashi, and we're going to put to them the accusations that not only we've heard from the Bulgarians, but also the accusations that were placed at their feet by the other Romas, the other gypsies. We've been told by Roma people and by Bulgarians that you specialise in pickpocketing. Is that true?
Не, това е дарено от Господа. Значи това е било преди много време. Българите са взимали земите, взимаха всичко, а на нас нищо не ни остана. И просто някак да оцелеем.
We've heard accusations from people in the Euro-Roma party, from Don Setse and other people, that the Kalderashi don't need to steal, that they're rich, they're just doing it because they like money and they like having money.
Далаверджи няма, защото той е най-големият далаверджи, той е най-богатия, той има всичко.
Well, not just him, other people in the Roma community said of the Kalderashi that they are responsible for 99.9% of all the pickpocketing in London done by the Roma.
Не. Това не може да бъде, защото мисля, че кърдараши не може да има в Лондон. Но не е казано, че като крадем, ние просто крадем за оцеляване. Просто работата не ни дадат. Нашите досиета са вече мърсени. Може да съм бил малък, но то вече се отчапало ми досието и че не може да се намеря работа.
You have some of your wives, some of your family that will talk to us, some of the girls.
Няма проблем, заповядайте.
Merci. Well, the Kalderashi, eh?
Ромски цигани сме от крадливите.
You're the gypsies that steal. You're famous for it, aren't you?
Да.
When do you learn to steal? What age are you when you're taught?
На колко години? Зависи. От 12 на 15.
Are the Kalderashi the only type of Roma people that steal?
Има ги
Всички крадат, не само кърдараши. Няма кой да не краде, за да си ги хранва децата.
What do you look for in terms of someone who you're going to steal of? Is there someone particular you will look at and go, that's a person that we will steal of?
Няма. Ето имаме сини.
Ние гледаме да си имаме да има за децата.
What areas are the best areas to do it? Is it in stations?
Да, и на спирките, както на магазините, кай трамвай, на трамвай, много на трамвай.
What's the easiest thing to steal from someone?
Така като е в джоба, някой българин в джоба му, когато е тогава.
Pocket.
Отвънка. Яки има, е така като тебе. Така. Няма нищо тук.
Got my phone? Apart from this? That's gone. Mercy, you can show me how you do it later. When she put her hand in my jacket, you know, and obviously I was aware that she was about to do it, but I couldn't actually feel her put her hands inside my coat pocket at all. You know, I mean, in terms of the morals of what they do, they know it's wrong. However, they said that it's also part of their tradition and their customs to, you know, to steal and to pickpocket. They didn't look like they were living in the kind of houses that the people in the Euro-Roma party were living in. That said, you know, what do we know? We could have been duped completely. We don't know, you know, what ultimately goes on inside the world, the Roma world. You know, how can we begin to guess what's really going on there?
As we're about to leave Bulgaria, we get a phone call from our contact in Falkuteta. He wants me to meet up with a couple of young men who have spent time working in the UK as part of a Roma criminal gang. It's my last day in Bulgaria, and I'm back where I started 2.5 weeks ago, in Falkuteta.
We've managed to get an interview with two guys who will talk about their criminal past. One was involved in prostitution, the other one in pickpocketing, and they both operated in the UK. Now, they're only prepared to speak to us if we keep their identities hidden, because the bosses they work for in the UK are still active and they're scared of reprisals. Hello, I'm Ross Kemp, pleased to meet you.
Да не ме познават тия хора, защото тук са си хора с връзки и така нататък. И са опасни.
He's understandably nervous. He's never spoken openly about his experience in the UK before, not even to his own family. His paranoia gets the better of him and he changes his mind, which just proves to me how dangerous his boss must be. The next man is not so scared.
Понеже не трябва да се разбере това и се касае за мен тук в България, с тия хора, които съм работил в Англия, имат много силни връзки в България. Те са разпространени в цяла Европа.
Was it a gypsy gang that you were working for?
Не, всичко се държи от българска група.
What were you actually doing when you were in the UK?
Започва се с джипчиство, има проституиране и вкарват инвалиди от България в Англия да просят. И движих се с джипчиките заедно с тях. Метро, поживени места, където има поне 5-6, аз се движих с 5-6.
How much money would the 5 girls make in a day?
Сме стигали в евро, ще го кажа, от 2-3 хиляди евро.
2,000 euros a day?
Да.
That's a lot of money, isn't it? They're all gypsy girls in the gang, were they?
Почти бяха всички, да.
Were they part of the Kalarashi?
Да. И имахме бая проблеми с тях. Те са, кардалашите са като циганите, само че с други обичаи и други религии. Не са баш като циганите. При тях е, като се жени, я плаща тази жена и я води да краде и работи за него. Семейство.
How were these girls, these prostitute girls, and the pickpockets, how were they treated?
Те си имаха стари момичета, които работят доста време, с по-старите момичета добре, с другите зверски. Защото те се опитваха, нали, да си дойдат, не искат да проституират, не са съгласни на неговите правила, но просто с течение на времето няма къде и няма как, няма пари, няма да вземат задграничен паспорт.
So are they locked up in these rooms?
Заключени, водят им клиенти, спът си с тях. Аз бях свидетел майка и дъщеря, как на едното легло с майката си спът, другото дъщерята гледа, после обратното. С дъщерята спът, майката гледа и няма как да се дойде.
So the mother and the daughter are locked in the room and they're both work as prostitutes and they can't get out. How do they get those people into the UK?
Имат си човек тук, който им задейства всички работи. Задгранични паспорти, пътувания, билети, самолети, посрещане, всичко.
So there are actually people that specialise in transporting those girls into the UK?
Да. И тук си имат хора, затова ти казвам, че навсекъде в цяла Европа имат връзки с такова.
What would happen to you if the boss found out that you'd given this interview to us?
Аз доста рискувам, да кажа честно. Но трябва да се спре тази престъпност, понеже се отвръщавам всеки ден по телевизията, гледам все нещо стане от циганин, все нещо такова и цигани не върши тия престъпления, да кажа често. Всичко е ръководено от българин.
Okay, thank you very, very much for your time and your honesty. Thank you. Merci. Quite shocked about the human trafficking. You know, I've heard that it exists in the UK, but I've never had anyone tell me or talk to me that was actually involved in it. And the idea of, you know, a mother and a daughter being locked up in a room, fed, and then abused like that is very shocking. Also, the organisation seems to be rather large. They couldn't actually tell us the numbers involved, but it would appear that, you know, both sides, whether it be in Bulgaria or whether it be in the UK, these people are highly organised and they're clearly making a lot of illegal money.
It's easy to blame the gypsies from Eastern Europe for all the pickpocketing and prostitution on the streets of the UK. But the truth is always more complicated. The one thing that's become apparent during the making of this programme is that they are just a link in a highly organised chain that stretches across the borders of Europe. That's not to say that the gypsies are the victims in all of this. They admit to prostitution and to pickpocketing and openly say they view the UK as a soft target. Undoubtedly, it's hard for a country that's seen so much change in such a short period of time to change its ways overnight. That said, the fact that the European Union are refusing to hand out £400 million in grants has to be viewed as a clear indication to the Bulgarian government to get its house in order.
I've come to Belize in Central America, an ex-British colony. It's only a small country, but it plays a significant part in the international multi-billion-dollar business of cocaine smuggling.
37% of all the cocaine smuggled into the United States of America comes through Belize. Its geographical position, its hundreds of miles of unpatrolled coastline and unguarded land borders makes this tiny country a perfect haven for drug traffickers. The global cocaine trade is worth $23 billion a year. Belize has become an essential part of the narcotics highway, from production in South America to consumption in North America. Belize's white sandy beaches and crystal clear waters attracts tourists from all over the world. But it's its labyrinth of mangroves and hundreds of islands that also attracts the drug smugglers. And the majority of cocaine that arrives in Belize comes by sea. The Colombians use local gangs to get the cocaine through Belize to the Mexican cartels. The gangs are rewarded for its safe transportation with drugs, cash, and military weapons. Consequently, this small city is swamped with guns and drugs, and gangland murders are at a record level.
This is Belize City, home to some 3,000 gangsters. Last year, there were over 100 gang-related murders. The US State Department recently described the situation here as critical. And with a population of just 69,000, it's the 6th most likely place on the planet for someone to die from a gunshot wound.
For the second time in a week, police have made a major weapons seizure.
13 handguns, 32 rifles, 37 shots.
Over 35 shots were fired.
Most of the weapons were confiscated in Belize City.
Belize is a city on the verge of anarchy. Attempting to keep a lid on the violence are the police. Working alongside them are the heavily armed Belize Defence Force. There are 23 gangs in this small city. Corporal Lonsworth of the anti-gang unit has agreed to take me on a tour.
It's causing problems, yeah?
No.
You're less than 100 yards from the police station and you're already in a gang area.
Yeah, it's our neighbour, next door neighbour.
Kill bloods, fuck you all.
Just over the weekend, we have about 5 separate shooting incidents. Just
5 shootings?
Over this weekend on this very street.
So you look at the houses, they're mainly made out of wood. If a round hit one of those, it'd go straight through.
Penetrate right through. It goes on and hit whatever is inside.
So kids?
Kids.
Civilians?
Civilians, innocent people. But this is one of the real active neighborhoods involving a lot of shooting.
What kind of guns are these people using then?
AK-47s, AR-15s, M16, 9mm, explosives. We have 12 persons that was injured. 1 was killed by a hand grenade that was thrown through that neighborhood. Yes.
There was a grenade blast in the city last night. The deadly explosive device was used in a gang-related attack on a group of young men in the Mayflower Street area. One 16-year-old is dead. Another young man is critical, and 10 others, including a woman, were injured. It is a crime that has stunned the city.
That's where the grenade went off?
Yeah, right here. He was standing somewhere over here. There's a guy rode up on a bicycle from over there and threw the grenade from there. It bounced on one of these wires and dropped, and he kicked it. And as he kicked it, the grenade
went off,
yeah. So he
tried to kick it away?
Kick it away. He didn't know it was a grenade. In history, it was the first time that an explosive ever was thrown in a neighborhood that is so populated. And if you can see, the majority is small kids.
And was there any retaliation? Do they know what neighborhood the grenade?
Yes, they did.
They knew who threw it?
They knew.
I mean, these are incredibly poor areas, aren't they?
Yeah, very poor.
Is there any kind of social welfare here for these people?
Nope. Nothing at all.
How do they put food in their stomachs then?
Selling marijuana, selling crack cocaine. Right. These guys are selling crack cocaine.
So these boys here, yeah?
Yeah. These guys, they call themselves the dog pound. They used to be one
dog pound
tourists. Instead of using weapons, they used to bite you. Bite you in your throat, bite off your ears, bite you like dogs.
They bite you in the throat, rip your throat?
Bite off a ear.
Bite off your...
bite off a piece of your
face.
Yeah.
So we've just travelled 40 metres, maybe under that, and you've managed to point out 4 different murders that have occurred in the last 2 years.
It was just for this year.
This year?
This year.
There doesn't seem to be any area that hasn't got a gang.
That's true. That's a harsh reality behind it.
I've never been to anywhere like that.
I'm in Belize, Central America. Over a third of the cocaine that's smuggled from Colombia into the USA passes through this small country. For the South American drug cartels, Belize is a refueling stop between South and North America. The local gangs that escort the drugs through Belize are paid with weapons and drugs. The boats used to traffic the cocaine only represent a small fraction of their valuable cargo, and once their job is done, they're abandoned.
2 years ago, with the help of American money, Belize got its first Coast Guard. However, despite that investment, most of its fleet are supplied by the Colombians. Commander Borland? Ross Kemp, pleased to meet you.
Good to meet you, sir.
This is one of the boats that was confiscated off the Colombians, isn't it?
That's correct.
So, Commander, just how effective are these boats?
These boats are awesome. They give us very, very good performance. I mean, they came from 1,000 miles away, you know.
And how long would that take them in one run?
It takes 48 to 72 hours.
If the Mexican border isn't that much further north, why do traffickers come into Belize?
In the years gone by, we were so under-resourced with assets to police or seas. The Mexicans are right up there with a lot more resources than we have.
One of the sayings that we've heard is that there's a thing called the sea lotto.
It's a result of what the locals find floating after a delivery has been made and some stuff gets left over.
Yeah, the only problem they have is getting rid of it afterwards. A lot of them get killed if they try and sell it onto the gangsters, don't they?
Well, that's what happens, you know, and that's what affects us back home. It's the stuff that gets left over and gets into the society and community and fuel the gang wars and, you know, the drug problem that we have here.
But it's not just boats that the drug runners leave behind.
So this aircraft landed on the Northern Highway about 2.5 months ago.
They've actually sealed off a public road and used it as a landing strip.
They got their own security out there. They cordoned off a part of the highway that was long enough and wide enough for this aircraft to land.
There's bullet holes in the windscreen up there.
Well, when the security forces arrived on the scene, they came in the fire and they returned fire. Actually, somebody got shot because there were traces of blood left in the cockpit.
How much cocaine could be actually transported in a plane like this?
This aircraft would take a ton of cocaine quite easily.
$50 million worth?
Yeah, that's what it is.
The plane's worth what? I don't know.
The aircraft's not worth more than $1 million. $1
million, so it's actually an acceptable loss again.
That's what it is.
With the Belize National Coast Guard, we're heading down the Belize River. About 4 or 5 miles' time, we'll get into open ocean, and then we'll head north, and they'll start boarding fishing vessels searching for cocaine.
They've just stopped this fishing vessel now. Not necessarily looking for cocaine, but, you know, this boat has to have documents to say, hey, it's seaworthy. And obviously, ultimately, if people started throwing white packets over the boat when we first sighted it, they would have opened fire on it. These aren't the people that you'd normally expect to be trafficking thousands of kilos of cocaine.
Yeah, that's right. These aren't the drug runners from South America.
Yeah.
However, they could support the drug trade by providing fuel containers to them, local knowledge to them, and any other information that they may require.
I.e. where the reefs are, fuel, and also like knowledge about where you guys are, for instance.
The Belize Coast Guard have 8 boats to create a deterrent, but with 14,000 square kilometres of ocean to cover, it's impossible to prevent drug traffickers from coming in by sea.
Right, we've just spotted a boat off to the starboard, yeah? And they're trying to catch up with it. We're going at a hell of a rate now, as you can see by the way I'm bouncing around. But it's quite an exciting game, this. I mean, they spot boats, they try and cut them off, and the other boats try to outrun them. The boat that we've been chasing is heading into an island just to the front of us, and it's slowed down considerably. The boat that we were chasing earlier has actually arrived in what can only be described as paradise. It is actually registered to the British Army. They know the actual speedboat.
The British Army still use Belize for training, and we've inadvertently ended up at one of their bases. Being on patrol with the Coast Guard has been exciting, but ultimately inconclusive. If I want to discover more about the gangs here, I have to head back onto the streets of Belize City. Our research has uncovered a character called Cobra, a veteran gangster and someone who has had direct contact with the Colombian drug traffickers.
So how dangerous is it, mate, living here where we are now?
Well, we have a lot of big guns in Belize. I've been shot by an AK.
Where'd they get you?
They caught me right here in my shoulder. You know, this one
I can
right
see
here.
it. Yeah, right there.
You know, I get caught here.
Where were you actually when you got shot then?
I was trying to rob cocaine. I was trying to drop drugs, drop cocaine. You know, I went one day to San Pedro because the guys, they came in, the Colombian guys, they came across the
Colombians
San
were
Pedro.
coming in with drugs,
Yes. Yeah? And they wanted fuel for us to get to Mexico, so they offered us drugs for fuel.
You were hitting these Colombian guys and they came in their boats. How much were you really making?
Well, I wasn't working with them. I just went to do a fuel run for them. They wanted fuel, but we don't want to give them fuel. We wanted their drugs. Right. We wanted money.
Well, how much would they offer you in terms of payment?
Like 2 kilos for maybe two drums of fuel, you know.
2 kilos?
Yeah. For just 2 drums of fuel.
That's a lot of cocaine.
Yeah. Because they have tons of cocaine. You know, they have big boats with a lot of drugs, you know. I see all of that, man. I want it all, but I just got 7 kilos, just, you know.
What happened to those guys?
They ended up running. I shot one of them in the belly.
All right.
Cobra belongs to a gang called Posse in the Village, or PIV for short, but its street acronym is Professionals in Violence. The Belize gangs were originally affiliated to the Bloods and Crips. But since the introduction of huge amounts of cocaine, the dollar has more clout than any colour, and now every gang is a potential enemy. The spot where PIV hang out is on the border of their territory and has one of the highest murder rates in the city.
That's the south side right there.
The Crips, say, for instance, know that you're here. So it's a dangerous place to stand, isn't it?
In this night, it gets kind of dangerous. One day, they can't do what they want. There's too many faces seeing what they're doing, you know? One day, that guy stabbed me down, man, in my back with a screwdriver. That same guy right there in the red.
Which one?
That same guy in the red right there. He got a beef with me. He stabbed me in the back with a fucking screwdriver. Yeah. You don't want to come. Come over here, man. Come over here. Don't be doing that. Come over here. I want you to tell him about the old beef that me and you have when you stabbed me down with the screwdriver. I want him to talk about when they kick your teeth out, too. Because he stabbed me and I never run. I end up getting it and stabbed him up like about 3 times. And we're still alive to talk about it. We're still friends.
Even though you try to kill each other, you're now good friends, yeah?
Yep. Hey, go up on the flip.
Get that way in.
He said next time he's not going to stab me in my back, he's going to stab me in my choke. He's just talking, man, that guy. He likes to talk a lot. We don't deal with talking around here, you know?
The fact that yards, sometimes inches, separate opposing gangs means that violence and murder are commonplace.
Eggy, tell him why you lose your job, man. You know why you lose your job? Tell him why you lose your job. Tell him why you lose your job. Because he was a dirty cop. He take away cocaine from bad guys like us, take away drugs, and he end up taking it for himself and selling it to the streets, to the street guys. We call him Eggy. You know, Eggy is a dirty cop.
Well, tell him
about the story of being a cop and a dirty fucking cop. That's what you should tell him.
Why did you leave the police force then?
Why did I leave the police force?
You can't answer the question. Why did you leave the police force?
Eggy's clearly unwilling to incriminate himself on camera. Cobra has the scars to back up his stories, but I have no way of knowing if his accusations are true or false. Belize City is a dangerous, weird, and unnerving place. With gang membership 5 times greater per person than that of LA, we have no trouble finding the gangs here.
While we've been here, we've seen lots of gangsters with guns, high-powered weapons. One of the gangs has told us to follow them. I have no idea where we're going, and we're going to have to turn the camera off before we get there. And they've promised to show us some of the serious hardware that's on the streets and some of the stuff that they use here in Belize City. I have no idea where I actually have been taken, and I can't tell you who's given this to me, but this is an example of the hardware that's on the streets of Belize. This is a NATO hand grenade, very similar probably to the one that was used lately in Belize. That will kill a lot of people, particularly if it's thrown into a crowd against the wall. The pellets ricochet off, it will maim, it will kill. In all my travels around the world, I have never seen a gang with this kind of hardware. I'm amazed at how acute the problem is here, how many gangs there are, and how close the enemy's territories are to each other. People are literally confined to the few streets of their gang's hood, and the price for slipping out of that neighborhood could be death. We've only been here a very short period of time. We've already met one gang, we've already gained access to another gang. Just goes to show how many active gangs there are here in Belize City. These lot are called the Dog Pound. They've agreed to talk to us. Dog Pound are aptly named because of their reputation for biting their enemies. You okay? Good to meet you, man.
Yes, man.
Have you lost a lot of boys?
We lost 13 homeboys.
Sorry, one person, sorry, say that again.
We lost 13 homeboys in less than 2 years.
13 boys dead?
Yeah. All of them was from guns. And I ain't scared. They kill one, I go take 2. They kill 2 of mine, I go take 3. Yeah. Yo, my life ain't a gun, but fuck. If you try to take me, I'll take you. I was born on this block, and I'm die on this block. We made these guns we made.
Have a look. There's a pin on the inside there, yeah?
Yeah, there's a pin on the inside.
You shove it up there. Force. What about the other gangs?
They got guns.
They got automatic weapons.
They got mad guns. We don't waste bullets. We don't come and boom, 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 boom. We meet them 1-1 and we get rid of their fucking ass. Our bullets is 1 per each head. They come kill us, we go back and kill them back. If you disrespect my hood, violate my block, I'm coming for your bitch ass. Right away. I've seen niggas spread across their cars with gunshots in the head. All I could do is cry, go to the cemetery or what.
Dead already, man.
Who's responsible for that?
Jill Street gang.
George Street.
They
sick. This is the biggest gang, man. My homeboy don't like them, man.
I roll up
on them and my homeboy cuts for me up, man, for my fucking rock, man. Nigga like
we forgive, but we don't forget. And if I forget you today, remember, I will remember you 4 years from now. And if I meet you with my gun in my hand, you's a dead motherfucker. You was your bitch that you with. You dead. I ain't giving a fuck.
Do you not worry that because of what you do that you could be killed?
God created me to live. I'm gonna live, and to tell you the truth, all the other youths in the world, I wouldn't want them to come like this. I know the way the world is running, and I know how we are going in my country, but come on, man. We can't get no sensible jobs or minimum wages, a little bit of fucking money. How the fuck can we live? I, as a ghetto youth, right now would want to get out of this game. But I can't. Who will I turn to? My daughter is 3 years old. My son is 1 year old.
That's a responsibility, isn't it?
I gotta face that. Every day I come out, I think about my head getting shot open. I can't get out, man. This is my life. I was born here, I'm gonna die here.
I'm in Belize City, Central America, where the narcotics and guns smuggled through here by South American drug dealers have turned this small city into a battleground. I'm going back to see Corporal Longsworth to ask him about the link between the Colombian cartels, the Belize City gangs, and the amount of drugs that end up on the streets.
Can you tell me when, like, crack cocaine started coming into Belize City?
Sometime around the late 80s, early 90s.
So what do these gangs do? When they're given 2 kilos of cocaine, what do they do with it?
A kilo of cocaine in the Belize streets is an average of 10,000. But if you cooked it for a small distribution, there's where it doubles or triples.
Yeah.
Tons of cocaine pass through Belize every year. 7% of it stays behind, and the majority of that gets turned into crack.
The major player goes and he has his lab where he cooks. They cooked it and distribute it to the gang members on the corners, and they sell it to the addicts.
Now, these major players, are we talking the leader of the street gang, or are there bigger people involved?
There are bigger people involved.
And these are people who have connections with the cartels?
With the cartels, and then they have connection with the gangs.
He was the boss of the George Street crew and the powerful player in Belize's underworld. He was enlisted by a corrupt Belizean government official working with Mexico's Juarez cartel to smuggle 12 tons of cocaine into the United States, assisted by, quote, armed members of the George Street crew.
He was a major player in the George Street. He would look right into our face and tell you he's untouchable. He told me that he's good for $30 million.
Yeah, $30 million in cash.
Yes.
The people making the real money from the drugs trade don't live in the same ghettos as the gangs. They live in the respectable parts of town and, for obvious reasons, are not keen to be filmed. Over the next few days, we managed to make contact with a leading figure of George Street, the most feared gang in Belize. Jason Brown has considerable clout on the streets and is rumoured to be behind countless contract killings. I've arranged to meet him at a remote location outside of the city.
We've been told that there are these Mr. Bigs that pass the orders down to the gangs.
Like me, I would be like their lieutenant. I get all the little soldiers that follow us to do the work. I'm going to get one salary, and all the guys that follow us, I got to take care of them. This is going to be my responsibility. I'm going to be driving past in my car tilted. You won't see me, but I see you. And I have the gunmen already waiting, you know. And I just give the call, move now. And within 15 minutes, they would be right up your ass and you would be dead. Because if you take a blood for them, they want it back by tomorrow, man. And they're going to get it. And they have the potential to do it.
Why has George Street got such a reputation, then?
We have witnesses who will be killed. If you're a witness, you say I could come 12 o'clock in the afternoon and shot this guy in the middle of his forehead and you're a witness.
I'm not saying anything.
You better not. You better not. Because if you do it, you, your family, and whoever follows.
Jason is a target himself and has had countless attempts made on his life.
The only thing I could have done was grab his gun. If I would have just stand there, he'd have hit me in the face. I made a couple of steps and I snatched the gun, and by the time I had my hand on the guns...
He pulled the trigger?
He just got frightened and he pulled the fucking trigger. No plane.
I'm surprised by Jason's honesty, and he openly admits to being responsible for some terrible and indiscriminate acts of violence that he says he now regrets.
Twice, I hurt a little kid. Twice, I hurt little kids.
You did that by the order?
Yeah, the order that I gave. I hurt some kids, man. It's like I tell them, go hit that spot. They go hit the spot. Fuck, when they left the spot, kid is shot.
Innocent?
Innocently. You know, those things bother me, man. And I have my kids. I ask God, where's my position in all this, you know? And I decide, like, fuck, I don't want this no more, man. No more, no more.
Because every day it's killing me, every day. It's a lose-lose situation for me. Because I'm losing my homies, and I could probably end up losing my family, which is the most valuable thing to me, you know? So I think the best way for me now is to do positive. If I die trying positive, I might feel a little bit better in my heart, because then at least I was trying to change and trying to do good, you know?
As a positive step, Jason is teaching woodwork to young people who might otherwise be recruited into the gangs. He says that he's out of the gang, but he also admits that you can never really be out of the gang. He says when he's here at this woodwork school, he feels a release, he feels safe, he feels free. He's free here, but as soon as he goes back to where he actually lives, it's like being incarcerated again. Anyway, he's agreed to take us there and to meet the meanest, nastiest gang in the whole of Belize City, and that's George Street. It's beginning to get dark as we arrive in George Street. There are already a few gang members on the streets, and Jason introduces me to Baja, his cousin and his most loyal soldier.
All right, this is my little corner right here. My homies, you know. But I hang all the way up to that other lane down yonder, you know. We control this whole neighborhood.
George Street, yeah?
Yeah, no boy should play in this neighborhood.
If just say someone came along and shot a member of George Street now, you would retaliate straight away.
We take on Goliath. We'll take him on.
All crew are not trying to gang up Crips, Bloods, everyone. We don't give a fuck. We kill Crip, Blood, anybody. And the person who I think will take my life mainly are the police, you understand me? Because me already did time for a police murder remanded. So I just have to watch my back from these cops, afraid they pick me up late night and no one don't see.
You were saying, Badger, if it does kick off, you're going to go straight, get your vest on, yeah?
Yeah, man, and I have to stay at my vest after that, you know. Even if it's hot, if I sweat, I'd rather sweat than feel lead.
Rather sweat than feel lead?
Yeah,
I'm really shocked by their casual attitude towards violence here.
In other places, you can feel that the people that you're with have an agenda. They're killers. But with these guys, these are probably some of the worst killers I've ever met. And they just don't feel like that when you're with them. And you know, in the blinking of an eye, though, they could switch. Start pulling triggers and throwing hand grenades.
The next morning, Jason takes me to the other side of town to meet his family in a safe house.
Sometimes innocents get shot in the shootouts here, don't they?
Definitely. Kids get shot innocently, and the last time it was like probably about 10-year-old.
A 10-year-old?
10-year-old little boy.
Get killed?
Innocent. He didn't die. He got shot in the chest. Then the other guy, the 13-year-old, he can't walk good.
Is that a bullet hole there?
Yeah, we got a bullet hole right here. This was once when they came to kill me and some of my homies. You know?
Really?
Yeah. They came and bust about 15 shots.
You've got kids in this house as well?
Yeah, kids were in this house, definitely. They were lying on the bed.
And that round's gone straight through?
Straight through. The girl, when she came out and saw what happened, she cried. A couple months after someone died for the shit. Because you've got to keep your standard up.
Jason still lives on George Street, but visits his 3 daughters as often as he can.
But this is my little queen right here. She always want to be with me, go with me everywhere I go. This is my big daughter. Big ass, she's at college right now, you know. I love her too. And this is my medium daughter, she's 11.
Hey, yeah?
She's in school, primary school. They saw so many shit, man, I'm telling you.
Really?
They saw so many shits. One time I was with her, and a guy came with a big pump action. I tried to grab her, right, to let him not shoot me, you know, and I hold her like to say, fuck, he's not gonna shoot me because I have my daughter. You know this asshole be pulling the trigger still? My daughter just bolt out my hands and run up the street.
Do you remember that happening?
You remember when Angel coined the big gun? She remembers, it's not long ago. You know, like one time when one of the homies got shot through the alley there, When I came here, they were crying like they can't take it anymore.
Do you worry about your dad?
This one was in the yard when the shot was firing. She was middle of the yard. That's why I know, you know, all of that, man. They could have cut my little daughter that night, man. Asshole just came and blazing. They weren't even looking to see her. Little did I know when I came around, my daughter was running around still screaming. You know, I didn't even know she was there, even, you know, if she was dead there, then I didn't even know I run left my daughter, but that's what I did.
Because of incidents like that, Jason, do you want to get out of it completely?
Definitely, man. For me, right, I would like to be in the park. I would like to be walking with my kids, holding hands, you know?
You really want to get out, but can you ever get out?
I hope so, man.
You're shaking your head?
I would hope that, you know?
Well, you were shaking your head. Why were you shaking your head? You don't think Daddy can get out? Well, because people want to get him. Do you understand what danger your dad is in sometimes? They worry you? Does it scare you? Do you think about it all the time?
I always tell them, you can't go with me, you're gonna get shot up, let your daddy die alone. You know? Let daddy die alone, I don't want, it's gonna hurt me more for any of them to die with me.
It was amazing seeing Jason with his kids. He clearly loves them dearly, and they're the most important thing in his life. That said, he also said that, you know, when shots came into the yard once, he ran away and left his toddler screaming. He also very honestly admitted to picking up one of his daughters and using her as a human shield when he was being shot at. For me, that's the hard thing about making these programs. I actually liked him. Against all that I've just said, I actually liked him as a human being. And that's a man that has ordered the deaths of numerous people. So I say that I like him as a human being, but I find what he does absolutely appalling.
There are many people in Belize who are trying to stop the escalation of gang violence. Douglas Hyde is an ex-gang member who now runs a project on the south side to stop young kids joining the gangs.
How dangerous is this for the kids?
This is one of the most dangerous areas in the city of Belize. Over the period of years, we have seen a lot of gang murders in this area.
Anyone who's ever seen a gun before, real gun, not toy.
What you're trying to do is dissuade these kids from joining these gangs, but how strong is the draw for them?
How many want to ever touch a gun? For real? Wow.
We know the gangs recruit very early. A lot of the crimes that are committed by young kids between the age of 14 and 24. When cocaine and crack came into our country, it escalated. It came with weapons, and almost everybody got a weapon. It get even more dangerous because our young people didn't see eye to eye. It was like limited tolerance. There was like a lot of ignorance. A lot of people were very impatient. And so it's like, to solve my problem, I take my gun out and shoot you.
Trying to tackle the gang problem head-on are the police. With the city gripped by gang violence, early morning police raids are a regular occurrence.
As you can tell from my face, it's pretty early in the morning here. It's just gone 4 o'clock. Now we're on our way to a police station to observe and film a raid on a number of gang areas.
This morning, there are simultaneous raids planned all over the city.
In the upcoming raid, do you see resistance being something very minimal or a high threat?
When going to this area, we need a larger group to contain the area quickly. Officers, you need to be careful because there are dogs in the yard. This house downstairs is where they meet and plan robberies, burglaries, and murders.
We just left the police station. The gangs unit and drug squad are up in front of us. It's now just about 5:30. One of the things that we were briefed on before we left the station was that a lot of times the local people in the community defend the gang from the police, and they'll come out and start hurling stones and sticks and bottles at the police because they see it as an affront to their community that the police could just walk in there and snatch people.
Police are struggling to gain entry, and the 6 dogs protecting the property are not helping.
Jump from my house and frighten me.
Who's this guy?
This guy's one of the major players from the Victoria Street Bloods.
The police carry out a thorough search of the house for guns, drugs and ammunition.
They bury them under the ground, in ceilings, in walls, under the floorings.
He's very upset, isn't he?
Yes, he's upset due to the fact that one of his sons was shot about over a year ago in the neck, and it caused him to be paralyzed.
There's a son there now?
That's his son, who lives in the downstairs of the house.
Despite the surprise raid and a thorough search, they fail to find anything incriminating. The police leave, and we ask the family for their side of the story.
Mate, they found nothing there, yeah?
After a few words, we're invited in to meet the rest of the family.
The father said it's okay to meet the son that was shot. He was shot about a year ago. Hi, friend. Sorry about this. Mate, we're basically a documentary crew from London. We make films around the world about gangs and about the trouble that exists, about the poverty, about how people have to live their lives. Can you talk to us about what happened to you?
Me? Yeah, I could tell him all these something, yeah, nothing wrong with that. I got shot in my neck.
In the neck?
Yeah. Then I fell to the ground and then I couldn't move.
mean?
I just tell her, better kill me. Okay, if you don't kill me, I come back for you.
We'll never live peaceful again. Never gonna live peaceful. Because you have a lot of friends and everybody is so hurt about it.
It's like jail. If I roll up on the street and they meet me, they want to kill me.
You go back on the street, they'll kill you.
I want to go to the river, go fishing like what I usually do. If I go to the river, go fishing, somebody will come right up to me and shot me on my head.
Just tell me how old you are now.
Me, I'm 23.
And what are you going to do now? What's the future for you now?
Future, well, if you tell her the truth, right? I really got nothing for do.
The bag, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes this pain with this game make me feel like I'm dead.
Yeah.
I have to live with that.
Is that always going to be? You're always going to have a catheter like that?
Well, I could take it out. I could use the bathroom, but I can't get up to go to the bathroom.
And they still want to kill you?
Yeah, they still want to kill me. They want to try anything for they. Yeah.
What would change that situation?
I don't know, the police can't do it.
Will you have to remove the people who are trying to kill you in order for you to do that?
Exactly. I want to do that. I want to move them. Some other guys, I believe, you hurt me, I catch your whole family. Your ma, your pa, your dog, everything was dead. But me, I don't do it like that, man.
When the police take driving,
The guy who shot me, I meet his sister one. I come and cut off his head if I'm one. You know, innocent people, you don't hurt people when I do nothing. Because if I want, right, if I really, really want, I could go buy some plastic explosive and I could set it and blow up the whole block. You know? You want to see the sword?
Yeah.
Right.
You sure to show us this?
Come in.
As the brothers lead me inside, I am totally unprepared for what I'm about to see.
Yeah, right
1, 2, 3, yeah, here. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Okay, man.
Push up my foot.
Sorry, man. There you go. That's the sauce there. That's what rotted on you, yeah?
Yeah, I have another one about.
Oh, no, man.
I still try to get better. Can't do nothing in Belize. I have to go outside for treatment, you know.
When you were in hospital, they should have kept turning your body.
But I always need help, you know. I got no help. This is my word right here. I cried for 2 years.
Cried for 2 years, yeah?
Yep. No. I can't even feel pain. Can't cry no more. You know?
The fact that some people still want this young man killed, and that he is so intent on taking revenge, is proof of the unending cycle of violence and retribution that exists in Belize City. How you go about breaking this pattern is hard for me to say. And is so often the case when making these programs, I leave with more questions than answers.
The one thing that's not in doubt, however, is the fact that hundreds of tons of cocaine moved through this very small country, and the payment for its safe transportation in guns and drugs has made Belize City one of the most dangerous, gang-ridden cities on the planet. However, there is a new government here, and the people we've spoken to seem to believe it offers genuine hope. But with such a global demand for cocaine, unless there is some serious investment in the people and the infrastructure here, the traffickers will only get rich quicker, and the street gangsters will only die trying. The film you're about to watch contains riots, ruthless police tactics, and unimaginable poverty. But what sets this film apart from others that we've made is that by the time we completed it, several of the contributors had been brutally murdered.
Live from the Sky News Centre, this is Sky News with Chris Roberts.
Hello there, top story at 6. Despite international calls for calm, the situation in Kenya seems to be worsening by the hour.
Hundreds of people, including women and children, have been killed in explosive riots across Kenya.
Thousands of British holidaymakers in the country are being advised to stay indoors following widespread violence and looting.
The tribal violence broke out after Mwai Kibaki won the presidential election, a vote that many of his opponents say was rigged.
After 6 years in government, President Kibaki was expected to lose the December 2007 election. His disputed win plunged the country into violence that left 1,500 dead and 250,000 people displaced, and Kenya on the brink of civil war.
Gunfire down there.
We're here to investigate an organisation that comes with a fearsome reputation and is accused of being behind much of the intertribal violence.
Right, get in the car. Get in the car. Get in the car. Okay, let's go.
I'll hear firsthand about the brutal murders committed in the slums.
His head ended up there.
I will learn about the extent of their threats.
Mombasa, Eldoret, Lamu, everywhere. We'll burn these houses to hell.
And I'll be in Nairobi when they attempt to bring Kenya to a standstill.
I've come to Kenya to meet a secret sect known as the Mungiki. They claim to have over 4 million members and are said to have been behind much of the post-election violence that claimed over 1,000 lives here. They're also accused of running protection rackets worth millions of shillings and of torturing and decapitating their enemies. It's 4 months since the election, and the two main political parties here are still at loggerheads over who ultimately controls this country. The political uncertainty, the corruption, and the tribal violence makes this the perfect environment for the Mungiki to thrive.
The parts of the country I'm visiting bear no resemblance to the vision of safaris and tropical beaches that most people have of Kenya. Decades of corruption have kept the ruling elite enormously wealthy and the majority abysmally poor. 3/4 of the urban population live in huge lawless ghettos, and 56% of all Kenyans have to survive on less than $1 a day. It's said that the Mungiki control most of Nairobi's sprawling slums, and that is where I start my investigation. They are accused of preying on the poorest by taking over the slums and setting up huge extortion rackets and brutally stamping on anyone that challenges their rule. There are communities that live in constant fear of the Mungiki threat.
That name Mungiki.
Yeah.
That Mungiki.
What does it mean to you?
That can make you afraid. They are coming in large number. And if they reach you, they will kill you.
They could just come and slash you to death, believing that if they can kill 10 people, 100 people will be scared.
The Mungiki have a reputation for using beheadings, skinning, and dismemberment as their chosen methods of execution.
That is not just killing somebody, you know, that
That's
is ritualistic. That is actually,
Yeah.
yes, that is torture. And I compare Mungiki to terrorists because terrorists do very grotesque things and they make the people live in dread.
The Mungiki claim to have millions of members, but it's impossible to know the exact numbers as the organisation is shrouded in secrecy. We thought gaining access to them would be difficult, but after only being in Kenya for 36 hours, we hear of a serious standoff between the Mungiki and the police.
Are they dead?
No, they're not dead.
The Nairobi suburb of Kayole is a Mungiki stronghold. Yesterday, an angry mob laid siege to a police station holding a Mungiki suspect and forced the police to release him. Today, we get a call to say that in reprisal, hundreds of police are pouring into Kayole, clearing the streets and searching for Mungiki.
You can see around us, police have just cleared the streets. People are upstairs on the rafters on the roof, all looking down. People have got guns, as you can see now, on my left. They're undercover cops, and they've got AK-47s. Interesting. Gunfire down there.
The police are closing off whole areas to search for anyone they think may be connected to the outlawed organisation.
They're loading people up. Well, I'm not sure whether they were the protesters or not, but they've certainly been rounded up and they've been taken off for questioning or whatever happens here.
Soon the police are reinforced by the GSU, the General Service Unit. They are the government's elite riot squad.
They are a scary bunch, I have to say. Something going on. Guys, secure his gun. Let's go. Got someone. Just arrested someone there. The shot's going off. This has all resulted of the Mungiki guy being released. The police have come back with a vengeance.
What have I done? Just kill me. It's fine. Let them kill me. Let them kill me. It's done. Kill me. Kill me. Yeah, kill me. Nothing, man.
guys have got dreads. They've got classic Mungiki haircuts. A lot of them shave them off nowadays. Rocks are being thrown, look. Rocks. Over there, just land. You right? Yeah, it's all right, it's all right. Out of nowhere, a lot of people started throwing stones down this alleyway. No, wait. There's tear gas, actually. See it?
After yesterday's humiliation, the police are keen to reassert their authority.
This lot turned up in force. It smacks off to me as just simple retaliation. You know, one Mungiki was released yesterday. They've come back in here to show who's boss, and they've certainly done that.
I'm in Kenya, just weeks after some of the worst violence the country has ever seen. I'm trying to meet the Mungiki, a secretive sect said to be behind much of the recent bloodshed. The majority of the Mungiki are from the Kikuyu tribe, and beheading their enemies is a tribal tradition.
From the Cathedral of the Highlands in Nairobi are borne the bodies of Mr. and Mrs. Roger Ruck and their 6-year-old son, Michael, a British family brutally murdered by the Mau Mau.
The Mau Mau used decapitation as a fear tactic against the British in the 1950s during their struggle for independence. And it's said the Mungiki have copied the terror tactics of their Kikuyu ancestors. Yesterday I watched the police round up suspects in a Mungiki-controlled area. Word has obviously got around that we're here, because today I get a call.
When we first arrived here, we had no idea how much access we'd get to a secret organisation like the Mungiki. Our best hopes that we'd get to speak to foot soldiers. Well, out of the blue, we've been offered an interview with the 3 top members of the Mungiki. Going to a location some way out of Nairobi, and obviously we're a little bit worried about what's going to happen when we get there.
They want to meet at the deserted home of their imprisoned founder, Maina Njenga, currently serving 5 years for the possession of drugs and firearms. The Mungiki claim it was a setup by the authorities. We've clearly been observed on our approach to the house, and now I'm left waiting for the Mungiki leaders for what seems like an eternity.
Good afternoon. Hi, Ross Kemp, pleased to meet you.
Hello, gentlemen.
Pleased to meet you, Ross Kemp. How are you? How are you? Pleased to meet you. How are you? You well? Thank you for agreeing to meet us. You know about the publicity that you're given. We've heard that you cut people's heads off, that you skin people's skulls, that you dismember their bodies and leave them in different areas. How do you answer those accusations?
They are all very good fabrications from the state machinery, especially during the Kibaki era. Before that, there was not a lot of negative propaganda. After they saw the growth of the movement, they started bringing in fear in between, okay? And what they did first is they started attacking our members, killing them.
This is the police, the government?
This is the police. They took 2 people. There were 2 people, in fact. They killed one, they beheaded one, placed his head somewhere in Nairobi.
So you were accused of the beheadings that you say they committed?
And at least we can say the fear that the government propagated has really worked. But it's not us who do anything.
The Mungiki originated as a spiritual group in the 1980s around the prophecies of their charismatic leader, Maina Njenga. He encouraged a return to a more fundamental Kikuyu way of life. The word Mungiki means multitude, and by 2002 they were 1 million strong. And the sheer weight of numbers meant the Mungiki became a political force and a political threat. They were criminalised by the government in 2003, and at this point, their objectives changed. they started taking control of the slums, and it's here that they are reputed to extort millions and rule with an iron fist.
You, as an organisation, control or run a lot of the slums, is that true?
True, very true.
But there must have been gangs inside those slums that weren't happy about you turning up.
We changed those rude boys. We first changed those people.
And how did you persuade him?
No, give him reality.
And
give him reality. And give him hope.
But if he probably only understands violence, how do you deal with someone that only understands violence?
The first change is his mental perspective to life. He should not just be violence, you know? He should think about his future.
The original philosophy of the movement is one of unity, self-sacrifice, and power in numbers. The Kikuyu are Kenya's biggest tribe, and the Mungiki are seen as the group that stands up for the ordinary rank-and-file Kikuyu. Members can be identified by their continual use of snuff, but as a group, they are strenuously opposed to drugs and alcohol and all symbols of Western decadence.
Is it right that you levy taxes on the people inside the slums?
No, we assist one another. We don't levy taxes.
Can you explain to me the difference?
They all know that we all have a sort of like a common problem. You know, the poverty is common all through. So they'll need sort of like something like a welfare system that the government did not create for them. So the people create for themselves.
And you organise that?
Yes, we help them in the organization.
The youth of this country have been reduced to almost nothing. We have a lot of problems everywhere.
Well, corruption seems to be endemic inside this country.
Corruption is everywhere.
Yeah, Kenya is not yet free. A country of 10 millionaires and 10 million poor people.
Just came out of my meeting with the Mungiki, and I have to say I'm probably more confused now than when I went in there. I've been led to believe that they were extortionists, that they killed people, cut their heads off. But nearly every question that I laid at their feet, they seem to have a pretty convincing answer. I still don't believe that they're the saints they paint themselves to be. They can't be. You know, that old saying, there's no smoke without fire. It looks like we're going to have to ask a lot more questions until we find out exactly what's going on here. One thing I do know about Kenya is the huge gap between the rich and the poor. Ever since Kenya won its independence from the British, the wealth and power of the nation has been divided up between a small group of the political elite, leaving the vast majority of the population in abject poverty. Perhaps this explains the rapid rise of the Mungiki, who claim to represent the millions who feel they have been ignored by successive governments. The next day, I get another call from the Mungiki leaders. The Mungiki hierarchy have invited us into one of the communities that they control to show us the good works that they do. This is Dandora, one of the most toxic places on Earth. It's the landfill site for the city of Nairobi. Since we arrived here, people have been coming up to us in droves telling us how much the area has changed since the Mungiki took over. There used to be gangs that would basically take money off the people that work the tips here. Since the Mungiki arrived, those gangs have been moved off. They have protection and they're looked after. I have to say, to me, it looks like hell on earth. The Dandora dump may well be hell on earth, but thousands of people manage to scrape a living by sifting through the rotting waste in 40-degree heat. Stephen, can you tell me a little bit about how you managed to take control of this area?
It's quite a lot of work that has been doing consistently for a long time. We started with one person, you go recruiting the other, talking to them, you teach them about to stop bad behaviors.
How can you recruit someone who is in charge of that area if he's the gang guy that controls the area?
First of all, you know, within the message that you are preaching, there is a divine call. So some things just happens miraculously, unless you are.
It was a miracle.
You consider it like a miracle because if at all.
I find that hard to believe. I'm a cynic, though.
You are a cynic. Then let's say it's a lot of work that is being that is being done with the help of the community, within the people who surrounds them.
The Mungiki take me deeper into the vast dump to explain to me how they run the site.
How does the finance work then? How does the money be collected? So, just say this is sold.
Like this one now, like this one, 1 kilo is 13 shillings.
1 kilo is 10. 1 kilo of plastic is 10 shillings.
It's 10 shillings. So if you have 1,000 kilogram, then
you have more shillings.
You have more shillings, and within the whole Kenya, we collect 55,000 tons of plastics daily. So if you manage to collect half, then that's a lot of money.
People here earn around 50 pence for a full day's work.
I want to understand about how the actual community is run and how you police it and organize it.
We organize people into cells, and one cell is a cell of 10 people, and every group give to the other group, so they help one another.
Yeah, but there is a security inside that, and that comes from you guys, yeah?
Yeah.
Stephen has set up a meeting with a group of Mungiki converts.
So everyone here is a Mungiki member, yeah? Why do the press continuously say that Mungiki are responsible for decapitations and killing people?
When you write an article about Mungiki will sell well, let me tell you, in the Kenyan newspaper. There won't be a copy that won't be bought. People want to know more about Mungiki. Mungiki is a mystery to Kenyans themselves.
So all those stories, all the things in the newspaper...
In December, the government was killing youths around this place. They formed this unit.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Kwekwe, no to erugano kwekwe. For nothing in fact.
They just kill people indiscriminately.
Just for believing, you know, for being members of Mungiki, you are taken, you are slaughtered. You know, that's what they do. The government does engage into mafia tactical activities. The government is an organized gang.
But that's what they say. That's what they accuse the Mungiki of being. Organized crime. That's what they say.
I came to disagree with that. We have come to believe that the government is killing us. They are fighting us. They are crushing us because of fear.
And why are they scared?
It has come a situation whereby the most neglected people in the society, they have now started arising and realizing that togetherness, they can do something.
Mungiki offer the people here security, food, somewhere to live, and most importantly, hope. I have to say, most of the people that were doing the talking were well-dressed and in suits, and most of the people doing the listening were the workers. Though the ones that I did speak to seemed honestly happy with having the Mungiki as their masters rather than their past masters, who were the government and the gangs.
I've heard so many half-truths and rumours that I'm desperate to meet someone who will speak objectively about what's really going on. I've arranged a meeting with the chairman of the Kenyan National Commission on Human Rights, Maina Kaye.
In this country, there are really just two tribes, the rich and the poor.
That disparity between haves and have-nots, which is so great here.
Absolutely.
No one has ever catered for that, the have-nots.
No, nobody has. Government and politicians talk the talk, they never walk it.
This Mungiki, this organisation, offers hope where there is none.
They also not only just hope, they also offer jobs.
Yeah.
Because they give unemployed people
Dandora,
something to do. Absolutely. They give people who are not employed, who can't get employment, have something to do.
One thing they've said to us, that they're not responsible for any of the beheadings that you see in the press. They say it was down to the Kwekwe, the secret police.
I mean, I don't know. There's no evidence to pinpoint Mungiki for the beheadings, although that's the common assumption that's made in this country. The other thing that's happened with Mungiki, as soon as became a reviled group in the country, then almost every single major criminal activity, the police would say it's Mungiki. So you'd find even non-Mungiki people extorting on the basis that they are Mungiki, even though they're not Mungiki. So Mungiki became...
When they're a secret organisation, it's easy to say, I'm one, or I'm not one.
Absolutely.
What about this thing about the Kwekwe? Do these secret policemen exist that go around killing people?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, they do.
Death squads here?
Oh, yes, they are. I mean, last year, we documented at this commission about 500 bodies that had been found dead, and they'd all been shot. Just the other day, I got a policeman coming to see me, telling me about a new squad that's been formed that's killing people. But this time, they're not shooting. This time they're hanging, or they cut you off with a machete. And so they're moving away now from the shootings, because the shootings point easily towards the police.
It's turning out to be a very different film from the film that I think we all thought we were going to make when we first arrived here. We came here to look at a sect come gang called the Mungiki. And we were told that they, regularly behead people, that they are vicious. And I don't know even at this moment whether that's true or not. When I met the leaders, they were a slick outfit. They were very convincing. Every question I asked them in terms of the murdering, of the beheadings, they all said that they were, plots by the government to destabilise them as an organisation. One thing's for sure, they are highly organised. What they've done is something that this government seems to have failed to have done, which is galvanised the poor here. I'm sure also they take money off them, undoubtedly, to support their organisation and to feather their own pockets. I can't prove that, but that's what I suspect. This country has that classic dilemma of, a few people ultimately controlling everything. And the poverty is just shocking. I think we're at a very important time in modern Kenya's history in terms of, this place doesn't seem very far away from a revolution of some kind.
I've come to Kenya to uncover an organisation called the Mungiki. They stand accused of horrific violence and massive extortion. I'm here at a time when the country is still reeling from the tribal violence sparked by the recent general election. The ruling president, President Kibaki, is from the Kikuyu tribe. And when he appeared to steal the election from the opposition, it was the catalyst for all of Kenya's tribes to rise up against the Kikuyu and settle old scores. Overnight, people were burnt out of their homes and hundreds were murdered. The violence claimed the lives of over 1,000 men, women and children and left 250,000 people homeless.
What we have seen actually defies description. We can only describe it as genocide.
I'm driving to Eldoret in the Rift Valley, a town that witnessed much of the post-election violence. At the height of the Troubles, it was reported that armed Mungiki were being bussed into the area and used as a militia to defend the Kikuyu people.
Matthews, can you tell me exactly what happened here after the election?
Immediately after the results were announced, there was an abrupt eruption of violence.
Yeah.
We saw people being chopped off the heads.
Beheaded? You actually saw that happening,
yes.
yeah?
They were hacking each other.
Kikuyu...
This happened even outside my own house where I stay.
Outside your own house?
Yes.
One of the accusations that we've heard is that the Mungiki were driven in here and told people, we're coming in tomorrow, if you're not gone, we're going to kill you. Have you ever heard anything?
Yeah, there were those complaints from the local community that they had seen people being brought in using lorries from the other direction, Nairobi direction.
Yeah.
And these people were heavily armed.
But were these people Mungiki or were they just Kikuyu tribesmen?
Okay, most of them were Kikuyu tribesmen, but it is believed that some of them were Mungiki indeed, considering the kind of killings which were witnessed, like the chopping off of heads of people, chopping off of private parts.
Private parts, yeah.
Yes, and displaying them publicly.
Yeah.
Once again, there appears to be plenty of rumours implicating the Mungiki in violence, but very little concrete evidence. The fact is that hundreds of people were killed and thousands driven out of areas that have been their homes for decades. This is Eldoret Showground. Since the post-election violence, it's become an internally displaced persons camp. There are over 150 similar camps like this one in Kenya, home to some of the 300,000 displaced people. And it just goes on forever. How many people are actually living here?
Here in Eldoret Showground, we have more than 15,000 people.
15,000 people?
Yeah.
And they're all Kikuyu, yeah?
Most of the communities that have been affected are Kikuyus.
The government has assured the people here that it is safe to return home. However, they are too frightened to leave the security of the IDP camp. After leaving Eldoret, we return to Nairobi. But on arrival, we hear some grim news. Yesterday at 3 p.m, Minor Njenga's wife, bear in mind Minor's the head of the Mungiki, Minor Njenga's wife and a driver were abducted. The driver managed to get a call out to his cousin, and the last thing that was heard from them was the driver pleading for his life. I met Virginia briefly 10 days ago, and it's chilling to think that she's now gone missing. Another woman who is high up in the Mungiki is Florence. At one time, she was the most wanted woman in Kenya. I'm on my way to meet her at a secret location in Nairobi. Before joining the Mungiki, she was a prostitute for 15 years. You tell me actually what you do.
I'm a coordinator of women.
Do you target prostitutes?
Yeah. I do help them. I was like you one day. I was smoking a very much bangi.
Yeah, a lot of marijuana, yeah?
Very much.
And
I've been jailed because of robbery. I was even slaughtering girls.
You were slaughtering?
Yeah, I was a bad girl. Yeah.
You killed people?
Yeah. I was brewing changa.
Very strong alcohol.
Yeah, I was selling to people. And if you don't pay me, I was taking with a glass and slaughter. I can do everything to you. So everybody was fearing me in Kayole, Soweto.
What about the claims that, you know, some of the girls that join have female circumcision? Is that true?
Yes, of course.
Some of the allegations we heard were that people were locked up and basically forced to have circumcision.
Not forced.
Right.
No.
Okay.
It's your wish. Like now, April, there is 20 girls.
20 girls?
Yeah, and they'll come to my house.
How do you do it?
Yeah, there is an old woman. She will come with a knife, and then I'll take the legs of the girl, and then I'll cover the neck like this. Please, please, please. Hold on. And then the mama will just cut. Just a small thing. Just a very small thing.
Some people might disagree with you that it's a small thing. But,
it's a very small thing.
Doesn't that mean that by taking away that very small thing, that she won't be able to enjoy sex in the future?
That's lies. To be circumcised is a good thing because I can stay about 3 years without a man and I can survive. But uncircumcised girls can't stay because when that thing stands like this, you feel you want a man. You can be fucked by everybody, even dogs.
Minor's wife disappeared yesterday, didn't she?
The day after yesterday.
What happened?
Even now, I'm just here, I'm feeling, my blood is telling me they are dead. My blood is telling me.
You think that they're dead?
Yes, I'm feeling.
Who do you think's responsible for taking them away?
This Kwekwe squad.
Kwekwe?
Yeah.
The secret police?
Yeah. They want us to feel pain so that we can leave Mungiki.
What would happen if someone killed Minor?
This Kenya will be bloodshed. Will revenge the whole world. Mombasa, Eldoret, Lamu, everywhere will burn these houses to hell. And I'll be in front.
When you meet people with that kind of passion inside them, it's easy to see how that quickly can overspill into violence. I think when you've got people in an organisation like that who are, to all intents and purposes, brainwashed, I think that makes an organisation very scary.
Mina Njenga's wife and her driver both went missing 2 days ago. We've just received a phone call from a leading member of the Mungiki to say that 2 bodies answering their description have turned up in the morgue. We're on our way there to find out if it's them. Florence's prediction has become all too true. As we arrive at the mortuary, her family and the Mungiki leaders are too stunned to talk. However, a relation of one of the dead told me all he knew.
These people were tortured a lot because the bodies have got deep panga cuts. The hands, they are tied up, the legs were tied up. And we are not seeing it as if it's just some ordinary criminal doing that. We are seeing as if maybe there was some information some people were trying to retrieve from these people. That's why they were torturing them.
Do you have any idea who those people might have been?
Well, we don't want to speculate because it's too early. We don't want to speculate about it. Whoever is behind this is inhuman. It's inhuman. Whatever those people could have done. I mean, you just don't do things like that.
Thank you very much for your time. I'm sorry for you and your family. Two days later, Kenya awoke to the backlash. The Mungiki took to the streets, setting fire to vehicles and blocking roads. It wasn't long before Nairobi was at a standstill, and we were caught in the middle of it. What's happening, boys? What's happening? As we attempt to avoid the traffic jams, we turn down a slip road and run straight into the path of an angry mob. There's a crowd there, and they're not fucking around, and they're upset. The natural instinct is to turn and run, but as the mob get closer, I sense we're not the focus of their aggression. Hedging our bets, we decide to stand our ground. As you can see, it's demonstration. Boys, listen to me. You're complaining because Njenga's wife was killed, yes?
Yeah. And we want him free.
Yeah. You want Njenga free, yeah?
We want them free.
You know, they are innocent citizens.
But you guys claim to be Mungiki, yeah?
Yeah. One of them. Yeah.
No more killing.
No more killing. No more killing. No more killing. We want them to tell
No minor, no peace. No minor.
No minor.
There is no peace in Kenya.
Okay. Kill wife. There is no minor.
No freedom. Why are they torturing us?
Well, as you can see, tension is very high here. You know, they're very upset. The Mungiki have closed off Nairobi. The Mungiki mob move up the road, and we follow. There are gangs of young Mungiki over to our left, demonstrating. The police are moving away, taking the keys out of the vehicles and blocking the road. There's petrol going down the tyre right in front of me. As the crowd grows, they're keen to express their opinions.
Why is the government killing us like dogs?
Yeah,
Are we not Kenya?
They kill.
Who do you
They
think?
kill the wife of
Sorry. Who do you think was responsible for his wife's murder?
Yes, the government. The government.
Look here, look here. Listen.
They used to the government to arrest us. And when they arrest us, when they take you to the police post, they kill you, hanging, murder. What have you done?
Thank you.
As the mob becomes more confident, they begin to chant Mungiki songs.
Right, watch out. Right, they could their round. Sorry, the police have just turned up, they're firing rounds, tear gas.
The mob scatters, well aware of the force the police will use to stop the protest.
Loaded, right? The police are arming themselves now. He's just locked and loaded his weapon.
If you have nothing to do here, go home. Go to your houses. Go home now. Kenya is our nation. We go back to our duties. Go back to your duties because Kenya is a working nation. Kenya is a working nation. Go back to our duties.
The police stopped the protest without casualties on either side. But in similar incidents all over Kenya, 20 Mungiki protesters were shot by the police as they attempted to quell the riots.
I can assure you we shall respond so firmly that the criminals involved will have cause to regret if any of them survives the peace.
Of only 48 hours left in the country, the Mungiki leaders are in hiding and in fear of their lives. But they have agreed to one last meeting.
My concerns are that there are many, many decent people in your organisation, but there are also criminals inside your organisation. I think we can clear this up very quickly with one simple question. Do you use violence as part of achieving your ultimate goal?
No. No.
How much danger are you two personally in at the moment as leaders of the organisation?
Personally, I am at the fear of being killed any moment. Maybe I may die even 20 minutes from now. If we were to disappear, do not look for us, just know we're dead.
The Mungiki leaders have promised further civil unrest until they get justice. To find out how the police intend to deal with any future threat from the Mungiki, we've arranged to meet with the official police spokesman.
Minor Njenga's wife, we've heard varying accounts. One accusation that was levelled by the Mungiki in the press yesterday was that the police were responsible for a death. Can you enlighten us as to what you believe actually happened?
Well, Mungiki has also created sects, especially after it had to go completely underground last year. And one sect could be responsible, and they are diverting attention from themselves.
How are you going to deal with them if they keep setting fire to things, causing roadblocks?
We are on their trail, and no criminal escapes for too long in this country.
Since coming here, one thing I've learned is nothing is as straightforward as it first appears. In a country with mass poverty and endemic corruption, the Mungiki appear to offer something where there is nothing. We've heard many accusations for and against them, and no way of proving or disproving them. And despite countless efforts by self-serving governments to wipe them out, they appear to be growing stronger. Whether the Mungiki use that power for their own gain or the good of the people, I have no idea. But one thing is for certain, the people here are prepared to sacrifice their own lives for the chance of something better.
Two weeks after I leave, the acting leader of the Mungiki, Charles Ndungu, was ambushed. He died instantly as a result of 17 gunshot wounds. As Kenya struggles to come to terms with the post-election violence, 250,000 Kenyans are still living in makeshift camps, and nearly 20 million still exist on $1 a day.